In 1949, a mysterious disappearance led to a shocking discovery that would uncover a series of chilling crimes committed by a man. As investigators delved deeper, they uncovered a trail of evidence that revealed the true extent of his depravity. This is the story of how one disappearance unraveled a web of darkness and revealed a killer's twisted motives. John George Hay was born into an average family and grew up in Lincolnshire before moving to the West Riding of Yorkshire. He loved classical music and played the piano, earning a scholarship to Queen Elizabeth Grammar School and Wakefield Cathedral. Hay had an odd sense of humour and was bullied in school. He played pranks like pulling the stool from under the elderly organist and chasing a pig until it died from exhaustion, which got him in trouble. After finishing school, Hay worked as an apprentice engineer but was fired for adding sugar to his boss's petrol tank. He also lost jobs in insurance and advertising for stealing from the cash box. In 1934, Hay married Betty Hamer, but their marriage ended quickly. Just 4 months later, he was arrested for car fraud and sentenced to 15 months in prison. While he was in jail, Betty gave birth to a daughter, who was later given up for adoption when Betty divorced Hay. After being released from prison in 1936, Hay moved to London and became a chauffeur for arcade owner William McSwan, who would later become his first victim. Hay left his job with McSwan and created a new identity, William Cato Adamson. Adamson posed as a solicitor with offices in London and Guildford, Surrey, where he sold fake stocks and shares. His scheme unraveled when someone noticed his fake surname was misspelled on his letterhead. He was sentenced to 4 years for fraud but spent many more years in and out of prison. During his last prison stay, Hay realized his victims could alert the authorities, leading to his capture. He learned about the French murderer Georges-Alexandre Sarret, who disposed of bodies using sulfuric acid. Intrigued, Hay began experimenting with acid and field mice in his cell. After being released from prison in 1943, John George Hay met William McSwan, who was working for his parents, Donald and Amy. Hay, consumed by jealousy, lured McSwan into a basement and killed him. He disposed of McSwan's body by dissolving it in sulfuric acid, hoping to take over McSwan's life. This was the start of Hay's horrific murder spree, where he would continue to kill and dissolve his victims in acid, leading to one of the most chilling crime sprees in British history. After murdering William McSwan, John George Hay took over his duties and deceived McSwan's parents, Donald and Amy, into believing their son was in hiding to avoid military service. Hay then lured them to a house on Gloucester Road, promising a reunion with their son. Instead, he brutally killed them in the basement, disposing of their bodies in acid. Hay stole his victims' possessions and moved into the Onslow Court Hotel, living off their money. However, his gambling addiction soon depleted his funds, prompting him to seek out new victims. After his previous murders, John George Hay continued his killing spree by targeting Dr. Archibald and Rose Henderson. He met the couple while pretending to be interested in purchasing their flat. Rose, upon learning that Hay played the piano, invited him to their housewarming party, where he stole the doctor's gun. Hay then lured Dr. Henderson to his workshop in Crawley under the guise of showing him an invention. Instead, he shot the doctor in the head with the stolen gun. He then contacted Rose, claiming her husband was ill and needed to come to Crawley. Upon her arrival, Hay also shot and killed Rose, disposing of their bodies in acid. To cover his tracks, Hay forged a letter in Dr. Henderson's name to gain control of their assets, which he then sold off. Despite his efforts to sustain his lifestyle, Hay was running out of money again by 1949 and sought out his final victim, setting the stage for the culmination of his horrific crimes. Olive Durant Deacon, a 69-year-old wealthy widow residing at the Onslow Court Hotel, fell victim to John George Hay's murderous scheme in 1949. Hay, posing as an engineer, learned of Olive's idea for false fingernails and invited her to his workshop in Crawley. On February 18, 1949, Olive made the journey with Hay to his workshop, where he shot her in the neck with a revolver stolen from Dr. Henderson. Hay then stripped Olive of her jewelry and expensive black Persian fur coat before disposing of her body in acid. Olive's friend, Constance Lane, reported her missing, prompting Sergeant Alexandra Lambourne to investigate. Constance described Olive as aloof and strong-minded, always wearing specific jewelry. Sergeant Lambourne's suspicions were aroused by Hay's demeanor and living situation. She discovered Hay had a history of fraud and questioned his involvement in Olive's disappearance. Inspector Symes, already familiar with Hay's criminal past, ordered a thorough investigation. A crucial witness from the Onslow Court Hotel came forward, revealing that Olive had mentioned driving to Crawley with Hay. Inspector Symes then discovered Hay's workshop in Crawley, where he found evidence implicating Hay in Olive's disappearance. Inside the workshop, police found a locked hatbox containing Dr. Henderson's revolver, ammunition, and a receipt for a dry-cleaned fur coat, all belonging to Olive. Further investigations uncovered incriminating items in Haig's hotel room, including blood-stained clothing and a shopping list for disposing of bodies. Hay's confession sealed his fate. He admitted to killing Olive along with several others and disposing of their bodies in acid. His trial in August 1949 resulted in a guilty verdict, and he was hanged for his crimes. Thanks for watching this video about the chilling crimes of John George Hay. Don't forget to hit the like button below. Leave a comment with your thoughts or any other cases you'd like us to cover. And remember to subscribe to our channel for more intriguing true crime stories.